Hey guys, today I'm here with the Flowmaster Force II axle back system with black tips, fitting all 2018 and newer JL Wranglers with the 2.0 liter 4-cylinder motor, as well as the 3.6 liter V6. So if you're looking for an exhaust system that's going to liven up the sound of your JL, while also creating a very aggressive look out of the back of your Wrangler, this option by Flowmaster is going to be a really good one to take a look at. This axle back exhaust system is going to do a really good job at freeing up a lot of that restriction, creating some better airflow, which is going to help you out in the performance aspect with some better efficiency, better MPG, and even some small horsepower and torque gains in those higher RPM ranges. Now, that's not really where we spend a lot of time, so where you're going to benefit out of this is that sound and that aggressive look. So this is going to have a more aggressive tone to it than the factory exhaust. And as far as sound goes, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being the stock exhaust noise and 5 being the loudest you can really get. Now, this isn't going to increase much in volume, as it is going to deepen the exhaust note of your V6. So it's going to make it sound very aggressive in comparison to that factory exhaust, but it's not going to be painstakingly loud. So this is going to really be good for that daily driver who doesn't want to hear their exhaust all the time inside their cab area, but when they get on the throttle, they do want to hear their exhaust system, and this is going to do a really good job at that. Not only are you getting a better sound and tone out of your Wrangler with this axle back exhaust system, as well as some small performance gains, but you also are going to have a very compact system, which is going to save you some clearance or help you gain some clearance while you're out on the trail. Not to mention, you're getting some style points here with the dual tip setup and the large 4-inch tip with the black ceramic coating. That ceramic coating is going to do a really good job at protecting that stainless steel underneath, but it's also going to help you gain a sleek and aggressive look out of the back end of your Jeep. Now, as far as price goes, this is going to be pretty averagely priced for an axle back system on the page at roughly $500. Now, when we're taking a look at axle backs all across the board, you'll usually notice that those less expensive choices are not going to have as much going on as this Flowmaster, so they may just be for a tailpipe setup that's high clearance and tucks very tightly to the frame rail, or they're going to be made of a lower grade stainless steel in comparison to the 409 and the 304 that we're working with here. Now, on the other hand of that, those more expensive options are usually going to be made of full 304 stainless steel material and have some very high quality welds and a very high quality build, which will up that price point. However, I personally think if you're looking for something that's pretty affordable while also looking very aggressive mounted underneath your rear bumper, then this is going to be a really good one to take a look at. So install is going to be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You're going to need a couple of basic hand tools to get the job done, and probably an hour's worth of your time to do it. So speaking of that install, let's jump into that now. Tools that I used for my install were an impact wrench, 3/8-inch drive ratchet, 13mm ratcheting wrench, 10-inch extension, 15mm deep socket, 13mm swivel socket, PB blaster, any penetrating catalyst, and a hanger removal tool. So our first step to this install is to take off the hangers. Now, I personally like to take off the hangers because it's a lot easier than getting a exhaust hanger removal tool in between the frame rail and this large muffler here. So you are going to need a 13mm ratcheting wrench or a 13mm wrench and a 13mm socket or swivel socket to go ahead and take off those hangers. So I'm going to go ahead and start on our driver's side. Now, with the 13mm ratcheting wrench, we can take off this bottom bolt. There's going to be 2 bolts in each of the hangers, one on the side that goes into the frame rail, and then one up at the top that goes into that bracket that's welded to the frame rail. Now, if you don't have these tools, or if you don't necessarily want to take off the hanger, what you can do is grab a pry bar or even an exhaust hanger removal tool and go up to the actual isolator there, but I find this a little bit easier. So next we're going to remove the top bolt. As you can see, this is the back of the bolt here. There's going to be a 13mm bolt head on the other side. I'm using a 13mm swivel socket and a 10-inch extension just to clear our sway bar in the back. You can use a regular socket. A swivel socket just gives you a little bit more movement. But once that is out, we can reach around and remove that. Now, there is a little hook on the bottom of the hanger here that will stay on this bracket once we remove the other side, but for right now, we're going to repeat that process on the other side. So as you can tell, the hanger is actually free. I'm gonna hook it on here so we can remove the clamp that's holding our tailpipe onto our over the axle pipe. So now I'm gonna take a 15mm deep socket in my impact wrench and loosen up the clamp that's holding these two pipes together. So what we can do now is unhook those two hangers from the actual frame and the brackets, and we'll be able to wiggle our tailpipe off. May have a little bit of water in it. So before we go ahead and install our new Flowmaster system, I wanted to sit it next to our factory exhaust, tell you guys a little bit more about it and what benefits that you're gonna see out of this Flowmaster system that you're not really seeing out of your factory one. So if we take a look at the factory exhaust, it's large, it's baffled, it's restricted. You can tell that on the piping here, it is pinched, which will cause some restriction. It doesn't have that much free airflow, and you're also getting a single tip or a single tailpipe. Now that's not gonna necessarily be the most attractive. It's going to be pretty large and be in the way, especially if you're out on the trail. Now moving over to the Flowmaster system, this is going to be a lot more compact. This is going to be made of a 409 stainless steel material, which is going to be roughly the same grade material that your factory one is made of. However, you're going to have a high quality 304 stainless steel tip on the end. Those are going to be 4 inches around, giving you a larger and attractive tip on the back of your Wrangler in comparison to the single tailpipe here. With the fact that it's going to be a lot better looking than the factory setup, you're also going to have that black ceramic coating on the whole exhaust system, on the 409 as well as the 304 stainless steel. It's going to do a really good job at protecting that stainless steel underneath, but it's going to create a really sleek and more aggressive off-road look to the back of your Wrangler. Now, as you can tell, as performance goes, on this piping back here, you're not going to have any pinches in the piping. It's going to be pretty free flowing, and the muffler is going to be a lot smaller, creating some extra clearance out on the trail, and it's also going to be chambered, so it's not going to be as quiet or as muffled as the factory exhaust, giving a really nice tone and a nice sound out of your 3.6 liter. Not to mention, you are getting everything that you need within this package. We are going to be able to switch over the hangers in just a second. We're also getting hanger retainers for each of the hangers that are welded onto the ends of the piping, and you're also getting a clamp to replace that one that stays on your factory exhaust system. So enough about these two side by side. Let's go ahead and mount up our new one. So before we go ahead and move to the Jeep, we have to prep our new Flowmaster axle back exhaust by swapping over the hangers and putting on our hanger retainers. So I have some PB Blaster here just to help the isolator come off a little bit easier from our factory exhaust. You can also use any penetrating oil to help that come off. Now I'm just gonna grab a hanger removal tool, wedge that in between the isolator, and just help push that out. Right, now you wanna make sure that you're on the same side. Once that hanger is on, what we can do is take the little retainer here. It's gonna be a cut washer, basically. Then we can just slide that onto the end of our welded hanger. So making sure that you have the clamp on your over the axle piping, we can connect the two over the axle pipings over our track bar and underneath our sway bar here. Once that's set in place, what we can do is loosely connect our hangers, then we can tighten everything down. So what we can do is set our hangers in place, grab our factory hardware, and thread that in. So now that we have that big muffler out of the way, we'll have a lot more room to work with here. Right, then we can do the same thing for the other side. So what we can do now is tighten up this clamp in the back here with the same 15mm deep socket. Then we can tighten up our hangers. Now we're gonna have a lot more room for this, so you might not need the extension. I'm still gonna use it. And then on the side, you can use that socket or swivel socket since our muffler is a lot smaller. Then we can tighten down the other side. After everything's tightened down, then you're all set to go. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos and products like this, always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.